Good afternoon and welcome to the second part, or second half, I should have said second half because this is a football thing, isn't it really, of our 2018 Don's Trust election candidate interviews. I am Nick Draper and shortly we've got 4 more interviews this afternoon. We had 5 this morning, and thank you very much for everyone that's been watching and sending in your live questions. Don't forget you can continue to send in your questions live to our candidates on the YouTube comment sections, and Stuart Deakins is in charge of delivering those questions, and we'll come to those in a bit. I should just remind everyone that there are 11 candidates standing for election this time. There are 4 available places on the board. We're speaking to 9 candidates today. Unfortunately, 2 candidates, Matt Breach and Tim Hillier, were unavailable. However, I'll be speaking to them on Monday, and those interviews with them will go up separately sometime Monday evening. Possibly, I'm thinking, early Tuesday morning. Another late night for me, but hey. Right, so thank you for joining us again. We're joined by Anna Kingsley.
Hello.
And Anna, if you just excuse me for one moment. I've got some notes before I get into it, but before you ask anything, just tell us what your occupation, what do you do for a living?
I'm a psychotherapist, so I work for myself, and as my kids understand it, people come and see Mummy, and Mummy helps them think a bit clearer and hopefully helps them to be happier. So that's what I do. I work with individuals and couples.
Stu, I've got your hookup. There you go. I think you need to pay a visit to Anna. Just sort out all your problems after the season. Yeah, after the season so far. Anna, you're a Wimbledon fan. How long have you been supporting Wimbledon?
Well, my dad used to take me to Plough Lane. I used to sit on his lap. I remember having a wooden sort of clapper thing and running up and down the concrete steps. So I was probably 4 or 5, I think.
Okay, wow.
So been there a while.
Plough Lane. So would that have been in the time of when we were in the old Division 1, as it were? Or?
Yes,
Yeah.
and then stuck with them, made it to Wembley, watched them win the FA Cup. That was great. Stuck out, went out to Selhurst, watched loads of games there. Was at the inaugural game here at Kings Meadow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now my kids are fans, and my husband, who when I first met him was a Manchester United fan, has now been converted.
Oh, wow.
And he probably knows more about match statistics than I do. So.
Fair enough. Wooden clappers, I know they're not probably allowed for safety reasons in football grounds anymore. They've sort of been lost, but I imagine if you took one to Haringey last night, you'd have got one and you'd have snuck one in.
I would have done.
We got patted down, completely body searched, and flares still got in, so, Anyway, where do you watch home games then from at Kings Meadow now?
On the main stand.
In the main stand?
Yeah.
Which block are you?
B.
B. Oh,
Yeah.
Now that's going to throw me. Is that towards the Kenflow end? Or
Yes, towards the Kenflow
Very
end.
nice, cool. Great, well, thank you very much for standing for election.
That's
We
right.
appreciate all the candidates taking their time to do it.
Yeah.
Very important role. It's great to have so many in as well.
Yeah.
Vibrant election we've got this year. I've been looking through your manifestos. In your manifesto, you state that you're a fan, but not an uncritical one. Does that mean that there are areas that you are critical of currently?
No, I suppose what that means is that I'm not blinded by loyalty. Well, I'm not an obsessive fan. So if, unlike my husband, you were to ask me a match statistic, I probably wouldn't be able to answer.
Mm-hmm.
So I love the game. I'm so proud to be an AFC fan. And I passionately believe in what the club's about and what the club's doing. But if you ask me something technical, I probably wouldn't be able to answer. I suppose that's what I mean.
Right, fair enough.
Can't play football. I can't score a goal. I'm pretty rubbish.
No, but that's the sort of person that Neil Lardy's looking for at the moment, I think. So in terms of the trust then, away from, you talk about being a fan of the football side, in terms of being critical in terms of being a Don's Trust member, Don's Trust board member, and critical of things away from the pitch, is there anything particularly at the moment you are critical of and that has led you to want to become a member or a Don's Trust board member?
Well, I suppose I've been thinking about doing this for a long time, but it's only now, since my work's calmed down and my kids are all settled, that I thought I'd have enough time to properly dedicate it to it. I thought I'd stand. I'd like there to be another female voice there. I'd like to get more parents involved. There's probably I know there are lots of fans who have concerns about communication, and I share those, I think. I'd like to hear more from the Trust. I'd like to have more of a voice. So I suppose that might be one criticism here, but I'm not out to be critical. I'm out to be helpful.
I mean, we're going to break with the protocol that I've done for the other interviews and skip straight to a question we had emailed to us from a Don's Trust member prior to today, because it links in with that. Matt Cooper emailed. He said, how would you look to improve the communication between the club?
Well,
and
I
the
think the
fans?
great thing about this club is that it's grown so big, and I think actually we've possibly outgrown ourselves, and maybe we need to look at how other organisations manage it. And I suppose I think straight away about my kids' schools and how do I hear from schools. So I have weekly updates from my kids' teachers. I have reports from the head twice a year. I have parents' evening. I have newsletters from the headmaster. There's loads of different ways that my kids' schools interact with the parents and encourage the parents to be part of the community. So I suppose in terms of communication, there's no one-fits-all answer. We'd have to do lots of different things to meet the needs of all our different fans. Not everybody's online. Not everybody's free to meet and come to a social in a pub on a Wednesday evening. But we do, I think the trusts are aware they need to do more.
I mean, you mentioned your son's school there. Can I just, because you were also talking to me before you came on that you've travelled in from work today and you've been on the tube and something. Whereabouts, first of all, where your son's school is, and whereabouts you're travelling in from at the minute?
Oh, well, I live in Wimbledon. I was born here. I live here. I live in Wimbledon. I work in Wimbledon. Both my kids go to school in Wimbledon. Mm-hmm. And right now, they are probably the only AFC Wimbledon fans in their class. So we really do need to do a lot more about that, because I do think that's one great way where we can encourage more fan base and build links within the community.
I'm going to assume here that many of your son's classmates are Chelsea fans. It seems to be
Chelsea or Fulham.
See, Fulham's not too bad.
Yeah, Fulham's okay. Chelsea, okay. Anybody but Chelsea. Really.
Absolutely, yeah. Chelsea and Watford, obviously. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, you say also in your manifesto you can make a difference. What difference do you think you yourself will make? And in what, aside from communication, in other areas you think that difference is required right now?
Well, I suppose one of the things I think I've learned in my professional life is to be able to step back and to view things objectively rather than to jump in and immediately react. So whilst there's there's been huge great work being done at the moment, and there would be lots I'd need to learn if I did get elected, I think maybe some of my objectivity might be helpful, to be able to just step back and think about what's going on. I'm good at bringing people together. I'm quite chatty. I used to be a journalist, so you have to be chatty to be a journalist. You have to get on with most people. So
yeah, I mean, Kevin's a journalist, but he's not particularly chatty or a particularly nice person. But never. You also said in your manifesto about the stadium. Now, clearly, I'm getting a vibe that you're born and raised, live in Wimbledon, very active in the community and everything like that. But you've talked about the stadium being more than just football.
Yeah.
What does that involve?
Well, I suppose there's huge potential there, isn't there, to use that building for not just on match days. I mean, what's going to happen on a Wednesday afternoon in the grounds, for example, or a Tuesday afternoon, or a Sunday morning? How can we make the most of that building and encourage ties within the community so that basically come match day, everybody in Wimbledon, whether you're a football fan or not, whether you, God forbid, do support Chelsea, you'd be excited that, Wimbledon's playing today.
What sort of thing? Do you have any ideas in particular about what other events or things we can have at the stadium? Have you given that some thought yet, or is that just a...
As I was walking here, I had a crazy idea about how they could open a nursery. That's probably a bit too far extreme, but I suppose one of the great... You've got to think big and then go slightly small, but there's churches around there. I mean, I live within walking distance of Plough Lane. There's a couple of churches not too far from there. There's housing estates. There's loads that could be done. There would be loads of people who would want a space. There would be kids' parties. There would be social groups. There would be all sorts of things. There would be business networks. There would be people like me who run their own business but need an office. So where are they going to work? There are ways of using that space, encouraging other people to be part of it, and also ways that would bring in revenue for the club.
I'm just thinking in terms of that, which would be very much something that would be led, I assume, by members of the football club board,
yes.
sort of in an operational way, day-to-day management. How far do you think we can push those ideas? I'm thinking in terms of infrastructure of the club, maybe facilities, certainly finance, which are very tight at the club. If the football club board were to turn around and say, look, you've put this forward to us, we don't think this money we can allocate this money because we think it's better off
Right.
elsewhere? Is it something that you would prioritise above maybe spending in other areas? For example, maybe the first team, for instance.
Possibly. I mean, there will be. There's lots I don't know about the budget, but I would hope that the club and the trust want to work very closely together. So there would be solutions. It wouldn't just be a standoff.
Mm-hmm. You'll be representing the members as well, of course, and wanted to hear from them. You talked about communication. If you were to have a Don's Trust member walk into the room right now,
Yes.
what would you say to them? Why would you say to them you should be signing up for the Don's Trust? Why should you be a member? Why should you not let your membership lapse, and you should pay your £25 this year?
That's a very good question, and there are a couple of people I know who've stopped paying because they're not sure what they get back from it. But I suppose most of the people who join the trust and continue to pay their dues each year do it because they believe in having a fan-based club, and they believe in the future of the team and what it represents. So I suppose one of the things we need to do is to continue to build on that passion, which I think sometimes gets a little bit lost.
Do you sense that this club is representing the people of Wimbledon at the moment?
Not Wimbledon Town Centre. I mean, I live there. I walk up and down the town to pick up my kids or go to work. And really, you wouldn't know that Wimbledon had a football team. You certainly wouldn't know that it was about to come back. So I do think one really obvious thing we need to do is increase the profile within Merton, really within Wimbledon. And that could be done in all sorts of different ways. Links with community groups, links with schools, literally sticking Hayden outside Morrison's, handing out balloons to kids. We need more people to know that we are here, that we're a young, friendly team. We're to get excited.
I mean, the Hayden idea, for instance, would be a great idea. Of course, we're relying a lot on then people
Yes,
in volunteer
we are.
capacities and
We
things
are.
like that. I mean, we seem to be having a little bit of trouble at the moment retaining and recruiting volunteers. How do you think we could perhaps fix that issue?
I think that then goes back to communication and the sense that maybe people are reluctant to commit to volunteer because they think it might be too big of a commitment. But maybe there's something we can do, sort of mix and match skills and volunteers. There's loads of people who would happily give up a couple of hours but don't want to commit to helping every Saturday. So it's about making all the fans and the trust members aware that if somebody could help for a couple of hours, that would be great. And I think that would be the way to build it up.
Well, speaking of volunteers, we have volunteers that are sending in questions to my glamorous assistant Stuart Deakins, who would like to apologise to Tony Shepherd for getting her name wrong earlier and calling her Tina. And on with that, Simon, you have questions.
Yeah, thank you for that. I've got more of a statement actually. What you were just saying regarding the nursery. Lee Rumbelow has just come back and said the nursery was originally in the stadium plans, but I
Yes.
think it was withdrawn.
Yes, no, I know. And then
Yeah.
I thought, well, maybe there's space. My kids went to a quite small nursery, and there are nurseries being set up in all sorts of interesting places right now. There's
Yeah.
one in Wandsworth that's in an old people's home. So that was a slightly nutty idea as I got off the bus
Yeah.
walking here. But things are possible.
Definitely. So, question we got for Marco Cura. Hello, Marco.
Hello?
How do you challenge the football club board about the professionalism and effectiveness of the club's operation on a daily basis? For example, the office, ticketing, and media output.
How do I challenge it?
Yeah.
I suppose with a smile to start with, not from a place of hostility. I suppose I'd try and tap into some of my professional skills. So when I'm working with couples who don't even want to sit anywhere near each other, you've got to try ways of bringing the two people together and to get to understand that actually they're probably both on the same side. And the club and the trust really are on the same side. Things have broken down a bit, but it doesn't have to be catastrophic. It doesn't have to be problematic. You just have to get people to see where they're trying to get to. And the odds are both the trust and the club, we want to go in the same direction.
Thank you. And I'm going to ask a question. We asked this in the first session, but Dominic Blessing was messaging and said he didn't feel he got the answer he wanted or an answer, so he wants to ask again. So the cost of coffee feels different from Fat Boys. What visual and physical structures would you put in the new plough lane, or as I call it, plough lane, to make fans feel that you are entering a special fans club?
Am I supposed to say I prefer Costa over Fat Boys? I don't know, because I don't use either.
Costa is better.
Okay. Well, I suppose the answer is to try to think about what is Wimbledon. So, the fact that the bar serves beer that's brewed in Wimbledon would be great. There are coffee places that are Wimbledon only. I think this is a new start, right? And we can create whatever, it's a new beginning. So you put it out to the fans and see what ideas they have, and hopefully it becomes personal to Wimbledon, rather than bringing in an already existing corporate brand.
Cool. Thank you very much. We all good for questions? Sorry, I wasn't sure if you had another one there, Stu. That's why I'm...
If you've got time, I've got one more.
Yeah, we got one more. We can have one more.
Okay, one's just come in, so we're trying to do as they come. People are waking up from the morning session. So we've got Adam Russell. How could you see the Dons Trust Board improving the matchday experience and getting new fans through the gates?
Off the top of my head, what do I not enjoy about coming here? I love coming here. I think there could be bigger family areas for starts. I think there could be different kinds of food served. I'm sorry, I don't really always want to eat a greasy burger. My kids are always starving at the end of the day after a match, and I have an argument with them about should they have chips or not. So there would be, I think, if we want the fans to be part of this club and stick around afterwards and build relationships and enjoy the whole atmosphere, maybe we do have to try and think that it's not just the 90 minutes, it's the whole experience of being here. And what do people actually want when they're here? They don't want to be queuing up for 20 minutes to use the loo. They do want to eat food that they want to eat. They do want to listen to music that they like to listen to. Maybe who knows? The fans will tell the club, you've got to ask the fans, and maybe that's one area where it's broken down.
Perfect. Do you know what else fans don't want to see on a match day? Liam Trotter starting. That might just be me. Got some more laid-back questions to finish. And before I do, we've been giving anagrams of all your names to each of you, to each candidate. We've had some very, very random ones. Yours might be the most apt because of your job.
Oh, right.
You are apparently, Anna Kingsley is an anagram of analysing Ken.
Oh, there you go.
Do you know anyone called Ken?
I do, actually. My brother-in-law's called Ken.
Well, there you go.
I try not to analyse family, but
I'm sure that
I'll give it a go.
Yeah. Do we know any famous Kens?
Ken
Dodd? Ken Livingston?
Ken Livingston.
Ken Barlow? Is that a real person?
No.
Kenny Cunningham. How can I forget?
Cunningham,
That's why Kevin's here. The second part of this is we call this 89 seconds. So the club was was formed in 1889, Wimbledon Old Centrals, and to reflect that, we're going to ask you 89 seconds worth of very quick either or questions.
Yes.
I just had the first answer that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Now, Mark is going to time us, and he's going to signal the end with the ring of the bell.
Okay.
So Mark, give me the prompt, and I shall start.
3, 2, 1,
go. Okay, first one. Costa or Fat Boys? No, we've already done that one. So, tea or coffee?
Tea.
Crime or science fiction?
Oh, crime.
Monday Night Football or Match of the Day?
Oh, Monday Night Football.
Jamie Carragher or Gary Neville?
Carragher.
Pie or panini?
Panini.
Have you had a panini from the ground yet for £4?
No, I haven't, but I also would never have a pie either.
Fair enough. £4 is a lot for panini.
It is.
£25 a year to be a Dons Trust member is too expensive, yes or no?
No.
Would you rather eat a whole jar of mayonnaise or a whole tub of margarine?
Mayonnaise.
45 seconds.
Tom Hanks or Leonardo DiCaprio?
Tom Hanks, just.
Trotter or Saws?
Trotter.
Tom King or Joe McDonnell?
Joe.
Would you rather have an elephant's trunk or a giraffe's neck?
Giraffe. I'll go with giraffe. My daughter's favourite animal.
Should selfie sticks be banned, yes or no?
Oh, yes.
Are the Batman films overrated, yes or no?
Totally.
Would you only travel via skipping or crawling?
Skip.
Relegation, disaster or a chance to rebuild?
Rebuild.
And then finally, when you make a cup of tea, will you put the I've started, so I will finish. Will you put the bag in the cup first or the milk in the cup first?
I put the bag and the milk in the cup, then the water.
Uh-oh.
Have I disqualified myself?
You did so well.
Can we cut? Cut. Not bag first? No. Water before milk? No. Milk. You put the milk in the cup before the water.
Yes. If I'm very tired and need it quick.
Oh, nice interview. It's a shame it's had to end on that note, but thank you very much for joining us.
I
Thank
won't
you,
be
Anna, for your
making you a cup of tea. Don't worry.
time. No, believe me, you really won't. No, thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all your questions. We'll be back at 2:25. Kevin will be in this chair interviewing Mark Brewer. So thanks once again, Anna.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Be back in a few minutes.